We are. Oh, it does. And we are recording. I shouldn't be so
Okay,
loud.
sounds good.
Welcome to the Video Gamers Forums podcast thing.
With your host, Tazzy10, not Jer, because Jer is gone.
And Marlink.
Yeah, and me. I'm here too.
Apparently, Jer has his own he's apparently working the night shift over in Lapland. So as a result, we have to do this solo.
Because the night shift over there means day shift here, kind of.
It's I'm sure it's very important. Let's not pretend.
Usually I'm the one missing. So this is a new composition. I'm usually the one that forgets we have the podcast or is busy with stuff. So
Right.
I'm actually here. So that's nice.
Surprise of surprises. But for today's podcast, we will be discussing Christmas games and or Christmas levels. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Marlink, what have you been doing? What have you been playing lately?
Oh gosh. Smash of all kinds. Um, my Smash Brothers playing has gone very high since Smash 4 came out for the Wii U. Um, Playing a lot of Smash 4, playing a lot of Melee still as always, and even picked up Project M pretty seriously at school. And we got a Project M group going now too. So just all kinds of Smash, and I kind of want to pick up 64 just to make it a little bit more complete. Uh, but I'm probably not going to do that because nobody really has Smash 64. Other than that, basically Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, and that has been my gaming life recently. Although today I literally just restarted Alpha Sapphire because I wasn't feeling Trico in this game, so I got my friend gave me his Skeptile so I can use it later, but I'm gonna go through the game as with Mudkip, so that'll be
Mudkip is a good choice. Let's be honest.
yeah. And honestly, I probably would go with Torchic, but I already have a completely stacked Mega Blaziken in X and Y because
Everybody wants to talk about Torchic. Even the creator of Pokemon likes Torchic.
well, yeah, that's why Blaziken is so favored.
Be different. Have a Mudkip.
I'll do Mudkip.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
I probably would go with Torchic, except I got that event Torchic in XY, so I have no need for it really. Uh, so I'm gonna go with Mudkip, and plus one of the reasons I'm ditching Trico is because I want to go through the game with a Breloom on my team, and I just can't bring myself to have two grass types on the same team because grass types are kind of a niche type anyway. So
I suppose you would know that more than me.
yeah, yeah, you're right.
But
I'm in on the Pokemon meta. So that's not to say I'm good. I'm not terribly fantastic at the Pokemon meta, but I know it's kind of like Smash Brothers. My knowledge of the metagame is disproportionate with my actual skill in the game itself. But I'm okay with that.
I don't know if it matters because I think you're always better than me anyway. But as for what I've been doing, it's I've also got Smash 4 for Wii U, but I've mostly just been concentrating on getting all of everything, all the stages and characters unlocked right at the moment.
Gotcha.
So far, all I have left is Duck Hunt Dog and Game and Watch, and don't know what I have to do for stages. I think I have to just go through the event mode, and that's how I'll get everything in stage wise.
There are two stages you unlock by doing events.
I think I got those.
There's one. Oh, how do you get? I forget how you get Pac-Land.
Is that the only one I'm missing? Well, I have Congo Jungle and Smashville, so
Okay.
Pac-Land,
You need Duck Hunt,
right?
and then you get that in Cruel Smash. And I
Oh,
don't. Yeah, if you go through event mode, you'll get some. Wait, what were the two you said you had?
Congo Jungle and Smashland, or Smashville.
Okay.
Yeah, Smashland, please.
Well, whatever. You'll figure it out.
Well, the only other thing I really want to talk about is I kind of mentioned this in the last episode of the podcast, but we were kind of pressed for time at the moment. So I just want to kind of just lay out my first impressions in general my impressions of mother cognitive dissonance.
Oh yeah, go for it. That's Crab's Earthbound
Yeah,
mod, correct?
just couple things I should just lay out before I start. I am currently in chapter 7 of the game, and I know that it ends at chapter 8. Um, which pretty much means that I've gone far enough in the game that it's I've seen most of it, but I haven't seen the ending yet. So I don't know if that. So it's entirely possible that that will color my some of what I think about the game. But I don't think it. I think I'm able to have a good enough opinion that I can say what I think about it. So as far as any when I first started the graphics and sounds are pretty good. I mean, obviously.
Well, I mean, it's Mother
Well,
Earthbound.
you couldn't really screw up the music and the graphics, could you? But it all I can't really. It's not really possible for me to tell what's made by the person themselves and what was made from the game for like Earthbound itself. Um, it is kind of obvious which songs are from like they just decided to take from the OST and how which ones they made themselves. But it's not so bad. It's just slightly jarring, and it's not like you play as like a group of aliens set between like trying to set up the links. I'm assuming they're trying to set up the plot between Mother One and Earthbound.
Okay.
But it's not like they just kind of go. It doesn't feel like they're just going around being like showing you the sides of like both Mother One and Earthbound and being like, oh boy, check out all this stuff. Like, remember this from this game and that from that game? It kind of does its own thing a little bit, and I can appreciate that. Um, it can feel a little easy, especially if you just kind of go out of your way to fight enemies. I did that a bit in the beginning, and I was just completely destroying everything. But after a while, I kind of stopped, and things started getting harder again.
So you were the game kind of functions better if you just kind of go through without trying to grind.
It does kind of feel like the beginning part is a lot easy. It's better off if it's kind of impossible to keep from doing that early on, but later it's a lot. You're probably better off just like I said, I don't know everything that I would need to do to like. I don't know how this is going to end, so. And I feel like I am missing a couple things on other areas, and I need to go back for a moment. But at the current time, I think that it probably is better if you try to avoid grinding for the most part. The only time I ever got too much in trouble was when I accidentally healed the wrong person, and during the first boss fight, where it can kind of feel like you're not really doing anything to him because he heals a bunch of HP and then he sends like two guys out after you on both sides of him, and it can feel like you're not able to do anything against him. Plus, he can diamondize you, so but so far, I do think that I like the game. I mean, I'm not really someone who plays RPGs regularly, but from my opinion, it's a pretty solid RPG. There's only one thing that I have a personal problem with, and that is and the problem is that they don't tell you anything. Like, it's not even a sort of hint, like, there's something that you can do all the way over there, maybe. Like, or I feel like maybe there is, and I don't get it right. There are several instances, and I think I may have pointed one out last time, but I kind of have a new one, and it just bothered me. The thing is, it's like somewhere in chapter 5, I think. You go to Jupiter, and there's starmen there, and you have to go to their fortress and raid it, but the main bad guy's gotten away with an important item. When you go to the last room, you find like some guy there, and he's like, "Oh, the main bad guy got away. You can either go look for him in the asteroid belt, or you can head him off at the pass in Neptune." And I was like, "Well, I don't want to go through the asteroid belt because spaceship fuel is limited, and I don't know what happens when you run out." So I decided, "Oh, I'm gonna go and take a trip to Neptune and just head him off there and make it easier on myself." So I go to Neptune. I go all the way down to like the like very bottom, and I face this boss and I get a guitar. But when I end up going through the area the boss was blocking, it's just a dead end. So I end up going all over Neptune, trying to find my way through, figuring out, oh, what am I supposed to do here? And I eventually just give up, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try and find some walkthrough somewhere. And this isn't the first time I've done this, but I ended up finding this website of a cognitive dissonance walkthrough with all the links are dead. But I managed to see the directory, and it said something about the SS something right after you go through, after saying something about like Jupiter. And I'm like, wait. So I wasn't supposed to go to Neptune. I was supposed to take care of this ship thing. And I forgot where I read it. But anyway, what was actually, so I ended up going all the way back to Jupiter because it turns out that the ship I was supposed to be, that they said was going through the asteroid belt or something to that effect, maybe I read it wrong, I don't remember now, was actually in the top left corner of Jupiter. Like, it was like near the planet. And I didn't notice it. But that was what I was supposed to do and not go all the way to Neptune. So I feel like the game has a kind of a bit of a problem trying to tell you what you need to do. A lot of it is like, it's not so bad that it's like absolutely terrible, because it's not like I'm just there's only a couple instances where I was completely unable to understand what I was supposed to do, and the only other two times was when was me misunderstanding what they were actually implying at the moment. So it's a fun game. I guess I'm just not really that up on what like hints I'm being given. So that's probably just me. I don't know.
Okay, so a little bit of unclear direction, but overall pretty interesting game. And are you familiar with the Earthbound canon at all?
I know the story, but I never actually played the games. So
maybe I mean, I know Krav loves Earthbound, and he's a Starman.net kind of guy. So maybe if you were more into Earthbound itself, the this kind of love letter to Earthbound mod might make a little bit more sense to you. I don't know. It's just a guess.
It's possible. I know my sister played Earthbound all the way through. So, and last night I saw her starting Cognitive Dissonance on her own. So it's possible. It's possible I'm just like, I was just not really fully understanding everything I was supposed to do in certain situations. But it's not. It's fun. It tells you what you need to do well enough for most of it anyway. And it's getting more into hyperdrive now as I'm reaching the end game. But but we'll see how that goes. I'm basically just saying this now because I don't know how long it's going to be before I actually beat it. If it's going to be in a week or so or in another month, I don't know. I just wanted to put out my opinions now because, well, it's someone that we know, so I wanted to make my opinions known a little bit more clearly. So I've been gone off on that for about 10 minutes. How about we talk about Christmas games?
Christmas games. Those exist?
Barely. It's kind of unfortunate, I guess, because although we put this topic forward, I'm not exactly someone who knows a lot about Christmas games in itself, and I'm going out on a limb and saying that you probably don't know about much about that either. The most that I can come up with is like Super Nintendo platformers and stuff like that.
Let's see. The most I can think of is like Christmas showing up in games, like usually in ice levels. For instance, Donkey Kong Country 3. There's that I think it's like it's a code. It's a code that you enter on the screen that'll change the ice levels to the Christmas music. That's a thing, and like the trees have Christmas lights on them and stuff. I don't know. Whenever I think of Christmas in a game, I think of Diddy Kong Racing. That Snow Village level with the killer music. Well, that whole game has. I'm going to listen to that soundtrack when I'm done with this podcast because that soundtrack is the best. The lights all have, or the houses all have Christmas lights on them, and the trees have Christmas lights on them and stuff. Okay, I guess in my mental list here, basically Rare really likes Christmas themed stuff because in Banjo-Kazooie, there's that Freeze Peak has some Christmas stuff going on. Like there's Christmas presents in the Christmas tree. And then also in Banjo-Tooie, that's the ice side of Hailfire Peaks has a fair share of Christmas-esque imagery as well. So yeah, I guess if you like Christmas in your ice levels, play a Rareware game. It'll show up eventually.
Hmm.
Other than that, I can't think of any games that are specifically Christmas themed. Like playing as Santa. I don't know. Does Home Alone count for the SNES?
Well, if that's the case, then so does Die Hard for the NES and any Gremlins game.
Okay, so Die Hard for the NES. That's a Christmas game. Also, one of the most interesting speed runs. Have you ever seen a Die Hard speed run, Tazzy?
No, actually.
Okay. So what happens is there's a stat in Die Hard. This is kind of a tangent, but it's an interesting tangent. There's a stat in Die Hard that's like your foot power. And if you walk on broken glass, your foot power goes down. And when your foot power goes down, that means you're slower. But you also walk up and down stairs slower. And that becomes important because in Die Hard, the point of the game is to kill all the enemies before the timer runs out. And when you go up and down a staircase, the timer will keep ticking down as you go up or down the stairs, but it becomes a blank screen while the timer ticks down. Well, if you have low foot power and you walk up a staircase, the timer will tick down a ton of time as you go up those stairs, but the actual time that elapses is the same as any other time. So what you do is you shoot a window, you walk on the broken glass until your foot power is as low as it can be, then you walk up and down stairs for like 2 minutes, real time, and that causes the in-game timer to go down by like 40 minutes, which is the cap. And then when you get to like 2 minutes left on the in-game timer, you go into one room and kill all the enemies at the same time. And that's how you speedrun Die Hard.
I don't know if I remember that happening in a movie. Like 30 minutes of just like him walking on glass and then walking up and down stairs slowly, waiting for all the bad guys to just convene in one room and go away.
That is exactly what happens. And the funny thing is, it's like the speedrun takes probably 6 minutes total. It's kind of hilarious. There's an AGDQ. Oh, I want to say it was AGDQ 2013 when Die Hard was like the bonus game, like the surprise game. I'm sure you could find it on YouTube if you're interested.
Ah, I see.
So there's a Christmas game for you. Die Hard for NES.
Well, I was kind of expecting that neither of us would really know much about Christmas games. But so the only other thing basically I was going to try and segue this into why would you ever, is like the idea of making Christmas a theme in a level anyway. It's very interesting how that whenever there's like sometimes whenever people do like ice themed levels, they also try to like segue into a sort of Christmassy feeling sometimes. Like
But
Battle.
yeah, like that's like I was saying with all those rare games. They're basically ice and snow levels that happen to have Christmas lights on the trees.
Yeah, speaking of rare, like one of my instances was Battletoad for the arcade, where it's like an ice theme level, but they have like elves and like rats dressed as elves and like snowmen, and the song is using like jingle bell stuff in it. There's also like the fighting game series Clay Fighter, where you play as like a snowman called Frosty, and and it's kind of um it's weird, I suppose.
Good descriptor. It took
Maybe
you a
not.
while to come up with the word weird, but I respect it.
Maybe not. Well, yeah, probably weird works because it's there's a lot of people who don't like ice levels when you think about
A
it
lot of people don't like ice levels. Ice levels generally garner some of the most hate.
because right next to the water levels and the
Water levels probably garner the most hate, but then ice levels are right next to.
yeah because well you slip and slide and you get and stuff like that and usually ice levels are known to be the most empty and like just the ones that cause things to go slower than in the rest of the game. Like, for instance, for some reason in Sonic Adventure, when you play Ice Cap Zone, there's like there's the snowboarding section at the end and the section where you're jumping around back and forth on like jump pads. But in between that, there's this section where you're basically in this one room and you're trying to get to the top. And one of the moments I remember is basically you have to shimmy your way along icicles, and it's probably the slowest moment in the entire game when you're doing that. Which is weird because I think Sonic is the only one that does it. Hilariously enough, I don't think anyone else I think Big does, but he's probably one of the only people who ends up doing the icicle section, while everybody else who goes to Ice Cap Zone just kind of either goes straight to the snowboarding section, or there's like a lake somewhere Big has to go into or something. But yes, ice levels, hilariously enough, despite being this sort of where they area where they have like slippery ice and snow and it's really like this supposed to be this feeling of cold. It brings forth a lot of these areas kind of end up making this sort of idea that you're supposed to like slowly go across, take your time, and like don't rush because you'll end up sliding onto your doom or something. It's very it's kind of you don't expect it, but that's kind of, I guess that's why it gets on people's nerves because it slows things down.
Yeah, it makes your jumps more calculated and less, fast. When people have to slow down in a game, they don't always appreciate it.
But since I'm going through my mental paces, and since we've already mentioned Banjo Kazooie, it is kind of interesting in that aspect. People don't usually talk about Freeze Easy Peak as, like, if anything, people say that Rusty Bucket Bay is the worst level in the game.
Wait, people say Rusty Bucket Bay is awesome.
I think that's only because of the Jiggy and the propellers and the
Oh,
notes.
whatever. People overreact about that, Jiggy. It's not that hard. Like you just have to. I don't know.
Technically, can't you just go in there, get the Jiggy, and just die if you don't, if it just activates while you're in there?
Yeah, I guess, but there are some notes in there, so people get kind of antsy because to get all the notes in that level, you have to do the propeller room and stuff. But honestly, the propeller room, it's tough, but it's not like it's awful. I think people just had bad experiences with it as a kid, and
Probably.
so they go on the internet and talk about how terrible that the propeller room is.
Yeah, but
Granted,
it's not Freeze Easy Peak, though. I guess that's because you never really slip and slide around in that. But it's also because the level's really normal otherwise. You go and get Jiggies, you get notes. There's nothing really impeding your path or making this level slower than it is normally. So people remember it fondly.
Which one? Rusty Bucket Bay?
Freeze Easy Peak.
Oh, okay.
I'm pointing that out.
Freeze Easy Peak is probably my least favorite level in Banjo-Kazooie, so I guess I'm the wrong guy to be talking to for this podcast. I think Freeze Easy Peak is horrible. I don't know. I don't like that level at all. I think the Christmas lights are annoying, the Twinkies or whatever. I think the sled race is just frustrating. It's not necessarily hard. It's just annoying because you kind of have to the AI rubber bands so hard that you have to basically pretend to lose for the whole first 3/4 of the race, and then just shoot ahead when there's enough time. So, I mean, it's no Canary Mary from Banjo-Tooie. That was crazy. That race is real. The second Canary Mary race is just insane.
Probably because you have to tap the A button.
But you can, last time I guess the first time, which was the only time I played Banjo-Tooie a couple months ago, I paused it because it lets you pause in mid-race. So I would just tense up my hand and press A as fast as I possibly could, and I would pause it, let my hand kind of shake out or whatever, and then I would keep going. So maybe I just opened the eyes of some people who have no idea that you can pause during the Canary Mary races.
I think I've done that. I've paused, but I don't think I took any sort of... Then again, I never really beat that game, so... That's kind of a...
I did. Banjo-Kazooie's better. Just gonna throw that out there.
Right.
For more details, see my thread in the Retro Nintendo forum.
But yeah, speed isn't exactly a problem in Banjo-Kazooie. Conversely, you were saying that there were you were saying that Donkey Kong Country well, no, technically you had a code to make it Christmas themed. But trying to think off of my own. Yeah,
I don't know. I would try to help you out, but I have no idea where you're going with this.
Same thing with Donkey Kong Country 3. To be fair, no one talks too much about that game already, but no one ever says that, oh, the ice levels are completely stupid and I hate them. But, I guess, because a lot of it is, if you can try and keep this, the problem with these, levels isn't that, oh, it's because it's slippery, or because it's made harder, or because it's, it probably has a lot to do with it being slower. And because usually whenever people do, some people when they do ice levels, the atmosphere is very lonely, and it makes you want to go through there quicker, and it kind of makes things slower as a result, because you're not moving and you're not doing these, and you're not getting out of there quick enough for your tastes. So in that respect, I guess you could say that bright Christmas tree lights and flashing ornaments and Christmas stuff going here and there brightens up the place, and it makes it a lot more enjoyable. It's all about the atmosphere. Perhaps.
Well, I think that's kind of a given. That's why they put Christmas type stuff in the game in the first place. People like Christmas, therefore, let's make this look kind of Christmassy. That'll be nice.
Just being completely out there, people are enjoying Christmas, so let's have Christmas in our game. It's
pretty self-explanatory.
You could also kind of argue that goes for a lot of holidays, like Dead Forest. It's Halloween. Have a bunch of be in a grassy field and you collect eggs. It's Easter. Pink Clouds. It's Valentine's Day. Be in anything snowy, especially a snowy forest. It's Christmas time, or just winter in general. Probably extend it to Thanksgiving if you throw a turkey in there. But
that'd be nice. I would go for a Thanksgiving game.
I think there are several Thanksgiving games, but
that Thanksgiving level in Dikembe Mutombo's 23 and a half Days to Save the World was pretty good.
3.5. Oh, hmm.
Did you ever play that, Tazzy?
I barely heard of that, but yeah,
It was an Old Spice commercial. It was a playable Old Spice commercial, and it was one of the most fantastic things that happened in the year 2012.
just like everything else Old Spice's advertisement did. Um, but yeah, you could be surprised what a little bit of color and vibrancy can do to your like otherwise bland and uninspired levels. When gimmicks don't work, you use atmosphere.
I don't think it's fair to say that you can just because a level has atmosphere means that the
Well,
design is uninspired.
yeah, no, but it most certainly assists. But it probably doesn't really fix a bad game.
No, but I think all the games that I listed at the beginning,
Yeah,
what did I
those
say?
are all good.
Yeah, they're all good. So but I can't even think of any other games that have Christmas themed levels. Maybe I'm just not thinking of enough.
I don't usually like go straight for Christmas stuff in my head. Um, but that's because well, one, I have my sister's more of a Halloween person, and um, as a result, I guess I just observe Halloween a lot more than I do Christmas. So it's kind of it's kind of something off my radar as far as that goes.
Well, I just looked up a list of Christmas games if you want me to throw them out.
Uh, I know there's like one called Santa Claus. Something about no, it was like a Super Nintendo game where um, Santa Claus was trying to save Christmas, and he also had to deal with his evil side. Ooh.
Santa Claus Saves the Earth?
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think I only saw a few parts because I think someone Let's Played it and was having a really bad time of the thing.
Sounds like anybody would have a bad time playing that game. Special Delivery Santa's Christmas Chaos for the Atari 800 XL.
What?
Moving on. Days Before Christmas. Days spelled D-A-Z-E. Super Nintendo game.
Why is that familiar? Why is that?
Santa must reclaim his workshop.
Um, I'm not gonna go trying to look that up while I'm doing this.
James Pond 2, codename RoboCod.
He had something. Well, who remembers?
The Nemesis has gone to the North Pole and taken over Santa's workshop.
Isn't that just like whenever they try to do a James Bond thing, it's usually just something with something for kids. Let's appeal to our little kids with this adult spy franchise parody thing. I guess it works technically.
I don't think it did work because I've never heard of that game, and I doubt anybody else has.
Well, okay, maybe not James Pond.
Frosty's Busy Night. That looks terrible. Snatcher.
Oh,
doesn't jump out to you as Christmas themed.
Oh, because it's
written by Hideo Kojima. So there's that.
Oh yeah, I know of Snatcher. I kind of forgot. Well, I didn't really look too. I don't really look too much, and I don't know too much about that game. But I guess it was set for during Christmas. It's not I guess it's like Die Hard, and it's not really like standing for much for Christmas. It's just set during Christmas.
Yeah, it's set at Christmas time, and one of the informants dresses up as Santa. So I guess this list decided it's Christmas enough.
Yeah.
Santa's Xmas Caper. Another looks like an Atari game. No, Commodore 64. Even better. Elf Bowling.
Oh no.
PC in 1998.
1 and 2.
1 and 2. Yep. The Elf Bowling 1 was so successful they decided to come up with a second one.
By successful, I mean they suckered at least 10 people into buying it.
Christmas Nights for the Sega Saturn.
Oh right, Christmas Nights, which is just, from what I've only seen, it's like the first level but in a Christmas theme.
It's an expansion of Nights into Dreams.
Yeah.
With 2 levels of Christmas themes. And the last one on this particular list is of thefw.com. Might as well cite my source. Is Christmas Lemmings. It's literally lemmings
with Christmas in it.
with a Christmas graphic.
The only other thing I can think of immediately, because I just kind of jumped to my hot mind, is just an expansion for this game called Viscera Cleanup Detail, which is just like you clean up like a crime scene or something.
I've heard of that game, yeah.
And they just had like a couple Christmas levels added on later on, which I guess really all you need to count, I suppose.
Viscera Cleanup Detail sounds like it's just a terrible idea for a game.
It's one of those games that just like it's only interesting in that it's this like the amount of trouble you can get yourself into, or like the back and forth. I don't know. It doesn't interest me. It's like I Am Bread, which is like making its rounds. It's like, okay, yeah, that it's funny to see this guy flail about like an idiot trying to like pretend to be bread, but no, I would not play this.
Oh, I got another level. Halloween Town from Kingdom Hearts.
Oh right. Halloween, yeah, from those two games.
Because, Night Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Makes an appearance in that game. So.
I only kind of remember that for the little area for the. Well, no, technically I remember a lot about both from Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, but the most memorable part was when I was just kind of rolling around on the merry-go-round dealing with Jack-in-the-Box enemies, and then I decided, well, I'm going to try and go into my super form, and then I turn into a Heartless, and I don't know what's going on. Which I don't know if you do anymore either.
If you want me to rant about why I think Kingdom Hearts is a bad game, we should probably do it on another podcast.
Oh, we're going to need a whole episode for that.
At least more time than we have right now, I think. Just
24 minutes.
I don't like Kingdom Hearts. I don't. And it's nothing,
I think I can understand your or at least I can understand that you wouldn't like it.
Should we just save it?
Let's save it.
Let's save this for a different time.
Right.
Okay.
So, but I think we've kind of bumbled our way through Christmas themed levels enough already. But we are barely going halfway over our usual time. So, what Christmas memories do you have? What memories do you have of, Christmas Day, having like the day before, getting presents, eating with your family, things like that?
Oh, I just dropped my laptop. That's not good.
Well, it didn't break because I can. Well, it didn't break in the next 5 seconds because I can hear you.
No, it did not break. We're good. This thing is sturdy.
Right.
So are you talking specifically video game related memories or memories in general?
Well, it would probably be better if we kind of kept them to at least somewhat tangential to video games.
Oh, yeah. Excuse me. Sorry. All right, video games. Christmas video game presents. I've been asking for video games for a while for Christmas. Notable Christmas buys that I got at Christmas were Animal Crossing. I remember getting that at Christmas. My Wii was a Christmas gift. This was before. Well, I was born, but I was a wee baby. My 3 siblings got the Super Nintendo for Christmas, and there's pictures of them opening it and freaking out. So just like glancing at my shelf, Christmas and birthday were basically the 2 times that I could get video games when I was a kid because I couldn't buy them myself. So it was either beg my parents during, the months January through September, or wait until Christmas and ask for 3 or 4 games. Or my birthday's in October, so ask for maybe 2 or 3 games at my birthday, and then ask for 2 or 3 games at Christmas. So that used to be my strategy before I actually, had money or a job. The number one memory I have of video games at Christmas was getting my green translucent N64 special edition with the DK64 packaged in. I still have it. I can see my 64 from where I'm sitting, and I can also see DK64 from where I'm sitting. And oh my gosh, I just got this urge to play that game, like just now from talking about it because of the nostalgia. But I'm not going to do it. I'm going to prevent myself from starting that game again because I don't want to put myself through that again. Anyway, and I remember that my grandpa was going to watch me. We open our gifts on Christmas Eve. That's kind of important to this story. And we open them after the children's program at church. And then it used to be that we would open them after the children's program. And then the family would go to candlelight service, which is a late night service at 10 p.m. after Christmas present opening. So we kind of had to do it a little quickly because children's program at 7, candlelight at 10. So we had about 2 hours to open up gifts, which was usually well. So I got my N64, and Grandpa was going to stay behind because he wanted to go to bed, and the rest of the family was going to go to candlelight, but I was too young at the time to stay up that late. So I was supposed to go to bed while my family was supposed to go to candlelight, and my grandpa just fell asleep on the couch, so I played about an hour and a half of DK64 that night when I was supposed to be in bed. And my parents came back and were like, aren't you supposed to be in bed? And they turned around and see that Grandpa's just completely zonked out on the couch, and they were like, all right, whatever, keep playing. So I played until like 12:30 that night, which was super late for me as a kid. Because I was, well, man, when was that? When DK64 came out in what, 99? So I was about 7 years old, and that was like staying up an eternity. But they let me. All in the name of DK64. At least I have that memory of that game instead of what that game actually is, which is terrible.
Backhanded insult to DK64. I guess we're kind of the same in that buying games and consoles were only really good I was only able to do that during Christmas and birthdays for most of my child life. It would only be the only other instances was when my grandparents were just like, here, have like $100, do what you want with it, and I just bought games with it. But but consoles were only on the table during Christmas time because, well, I bought the Santa thing hook, line, and sinker, so that's just, I just thought he would just put it down and we just have a good old time with it. And that's usually how it went. But I was also kind of spoiled. I think I said this to Jer already. So my list was actually like 20 or so objects on a list. I think the first time I ended up doing something like that, my mom just kind of put me off to the side. It's like, he's not going to get all this for you. Just word of warning. It's just like, maybe just like the first 10 or so, but that's about as far as it's going. He doesn't have the time or the money to do all of that. Like, and I just kind of bought it because Santa, And if he didn't like that, if I had a problem with that, I think he'd just like fill everything I had with coal instead. So, yeah, consoles I would usually only get during like Christmas time. So usually, yeah, like whenever. So Christmas is always this kind of magical time, I guess, because that's when I would always get everything that I wanted for that year. Like my Nintendo 64, my Wii, my PS2 are all from Christmas. Like I got for Christmas. I think the PlayStation 3 I got for Christmas too. And the 360 I got for my birthday. But I do have a sort of Christmas memory. But it's not exactly, it's more of something from last year, more or less. it was more around like Christmas time, and it just goes around buying the Wii U.
Okay.
Because last year, for no particular, Jen kind of does this sometimes, where like I go where like I'm just kind of sitting somewhere, and then Jen just is like instant messages me. It's like she shows me this link, and it's the link to like this like page showing the Wii U, and it's like, and she's just kind of like, buy it now, and it's like you buy it now, and then I'll take half of it off of your rent for this month. So it's like, okay, it's Christmas time. I guess it's fun. I mean, like I was planning to get this anyway, but it was actually kind of it was really more or less a really big hassle. Um, because the night before, I think the problem is I took a bath, and this is like um water got in my ear, and as a result, it got filled up with earwax. And I never had a big problem with this before. I just kind of no, it's filled with water, and I usually was just like, okay, whatever. I just kind of lean my head against the pillow and it would just drain on its own. So what? Um, to preface this, I was not used to the stuff that I was doing. I was kind of busy, and like I was like had a bunch of things in my mind, and I've never dealt with this, so I'd make a lot of stupid decisions. So so I wake up and my right ear. It's my right ear. My right ear is filled with earwax. It's really bothersome to me, and
This story is just, it's great. I love it.
it's about to get worse. I got it in my head because I got it in my head that, oh, I'll just clean it with a Q-tip. Never do that. Never do that ever. Also, never, ever, 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 ever. I know that now, but back then I had no idea. So I put it right in there. It doesn't clean anything up, or at least it doesn't. No, it does it temporarily. And I think, oh, that's good enough. Never do that. But so we go to Walmart, and because that's where it is, I have to pick it up, and it's like a long line from here to there, and I think Jen and her boyfriend are just kind of were like, okay, you can sit. Like they wanted to go look at something, so I sat in the line, and while I was there, it filled back up again, and it started hurting, and I'm like, that's bad. No, actually, well, it was only just kind of irritating then, but at that moment, uh, so I'm just like sitting here for a while. I think like after 10 or so minutes, they just called me to the front of the line because I have some sort of online pickup, and they just give it to me or something along with somebody else. So we go home, and I don't know. I'm irritated because my ear is blocked up, and I think we all got kind of irritated. There was an argument or something because I was doing something. By this point, I don't remember any arguments we have because we get over them so fast. But the main problem with this was that night, I don't know what I was thinking when it was going on, but suddenly like my right ear's my inner ear just erupts into pain, and I don't know what's going on, and I was this is just kind of like that moment where you're just like, I don't really know what to think about this right now. And the problem is that it wasn't going away. So,
Okay, so when does this come back around to Christmas?
um, it, I get no. Actually, that had a lot to do with just how troublesome it was to get the Wii U. I was hoping I'd remember the argument because it was so bad. Apparently, Jen just walked out of the house for a while, um, and don't clean your ear with a Q-tip. I had to go to a doctor and have that cleaned manually. I had to get ear drops for a couple weeks and then cleaned again.
Wait, so was this even a Christmas story?
I was hoping that I would have more Wii U stuff to talk about, but I guess not. It was just
What in the world?
my head. weirdly moved around and around because I wanted to talk about not cleaning your ear with a Q-tip. Don't do that. But
Oh man.
we can talk about. I guess I'll actually talk about something that happened related to Christmas.
No, maybe we should just wrap this up because that was a doozy.
Oh well, we'll leave this with a warning: do not clean your ear with a Q-tip.
Yeah, I think we got that.
Don't. Right.
All right then.
All right. We hope that you were able to have something to take away from this, and we'll catch you in the next episode of VGF Podcast.
Yeah.
Say goodbye,
right.
Mark.
We'll see you later.
No. Wait, hold on. You think you're gonna be a podcast without me just butting in at the end and trying to instill some wisdom over everything? I am the benevolent podcast host, after all. And, well, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Because I think you really forgot one game. And, I mean, the whole premise of it is actually the whole spirit of Christmas and then bougie crap and all that jazz. But did you guys really forget the Polar Express? I mean, the whole game is just about trying to get to the North Pole to meet Santa. Yeah. Maybe not the most entertaining game out there. I mean, the game is shit. Well, I thought you forgot about that, so I'm just gonna let this podcast just end here and wish everyone a good week, because we were a bit late with this because reasons. I had the night shift. It's not fun sitting in a stone quarry for a couple of nights watching gravel in a car. Yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody. Because, the next episode will be on the 28th, if I remember correctly. Also, what was that last part about Q-tips? Oh, never mind. Hit it!